My name is Stephen Orlo. I'm the president of the OneIsraelFund. That's OneIsraelFund. We've been in existence for 19 years. And for 19 years, we've had one purpose. And that purpose has been to do everything that we can to improve and safeguard the lives of the Jews that are living today in Yehuda and Shomron. And before that, it also included Gaza. We had tonight our annual dinner. That is, every year we have a dinner to celebrate all the work that we do and to give honor to certain people that have been particularly helpful in our work throughout the year and throughout the years. But we do work all year long. This is only one event. All year long we are working here and in Israel. In Israel we have members, staff people that try to define and identify the needs of the Yeshuvim in Yehuda and Shomron. And then we have people here that work with them to raise money, to raise funds, to try and meet the needs of all these people so that the lives of the Jews in Yehuda and Shomron can not only be more livable, more pleasant, but can be safer so that we can avoid, God willing, the creation of victims of terrorism. And through that we give many different types of equipment, but most of the equipment that we give involves security equipment. Thermal cameras, walkie-talkies, bulletproof ambulances and vans, bulletproof vests, night vision equipment, things that will protect the Yeshuvim and the Jews living in those Yeshuvim from the terrible things that might happen.
One Israel Fund believes that the communities in Judea and Samaria are not just called the biblical heartland, but really represent the heart and soul of our nation as a people. The strength of our community, of our people, is coming from Judea and Samaria today. And what One Israel Fund seeks to do is to pair interested donors in America with projects that will improve the lives of those living there. And the projects that we do are, they run the gamut from educational, building schools, providing scholarships for kids to go to school. We take care of the mechinot. We take care of the soldiers in and around Yehuda and Shomron. We then put preventive security equipment. Our TAC-site thermal portable cameras are now in 15 communities with 4 more on the way. We have letters from the heads of the security teams in these communities showing terrorists caught and infiltrations stopped. We also put in major surveillance camera systems. We try to pair the donors with what their capabilities are, what their interests are, emergency medical equipment. We take care of teens at risk, special needs. We build libraries, youth centers, mikvot, synagogues. Whatever a community in Yehuda and Shomron needs to grow, to thrive, and to be safe is what One Israel Fund focuses on. But we're also more than that. We're a grant organization, but in addition, we are dealing with the educational aspects of the American community. We are on college campuses. We are speaking in communities, both religious and non-religious. We're educating the people in this country of the importance of Yehuda and Shomron, of the importance of the people living there, and why it is that they need to be involved in our projects, why it is that they need to safeguard the communities that are there. Because when a body doesn't have its heart, the body can't survive. And the communities of Yehuda and Shomron are the heart of Israel, they're the heart and soul of our Jewish nation.
Shalom, I'm Helen Friedman. I'm the Executive Director of Americans for a Safe Israel. Our headquarters are in New York, but we have groups throughout the United States and in Israel and in Europe. And our whole purpose is to support Israel. We believe in a Yisrael Shlema, a whole Israel. So from the get-go, from the very beginning, we have said no Oslo Accords, no division of Israel, no division of Jerusalem, yes to the settlements, yes to living everywhere in Israel, Yehuda, Shomron, the Golan, and Gush Katif. And you see that I wear the broken star in memory of the lost communities of Gush Katif. and we run semi-annual chizuk missions to Israel, and we always include visits to the former residents of Gush Katif, the people who are now the refugees. Now, 8 years later, some of them are in permanent homes, and some are still in the caravans where they were taken right after, not even right after the expulsion. Right after the expulsion, they were really no place. So we support them. We are very excited about going to the various communities in the Shomron. We love what the OneIsraelFund does because it is very similar to what we do in going into the communities. As a matter of fact, on our upcoming trip, this May 5th, we're leaving. Mark Prowerser, who is the leader of OneIsraelFund in Israel, will be working with us, meeting us, and this is, I think, our day in the Shomron. He has something very, very special to introduce us to in Itamar. So we will be meeting him in Itamar. We go to Itamar always anyway because of what happened with the Fogel family. We're very close with the mayor and his wife. We built a synagogue in Givat Aryeh, just above Itamar, right after the Fogel family was killed. And we dedicated a Torah scroll there. Very sadly, the synagogue was destroyed by the Israeli army because this is supposedly illegal occupation. But we've been studying law and learning that there's nothing in the Geneva Convention, there's nothing, according to the Edmund Levy report, there's nothing in international law that declares that any part of Israel is illegal. It does belong to us, and we believe that. We always knew it, but there is confirmation of all of that. Of course, we have the biblical entitlement, and that's the most important of all. So we're delighted to be part of tonight's events. It's wonderful to be with Scott Feltman, with Mark Prowerser, with all the people who support the OneIsraelFund. And we look forward to working with them, until all the problems are solved. In Yetzah Hashem, that will happen soon.
My name is Ben Brafman. I am the Master of Ceremonies tonight at the OneIsraelFund dinner. I've done this dinner as Master of Ceremonies for the past many years, and I think it's probably one of the most important functions I attend every year, and I think every Jew who lives in the United States should certainly support OneIsraelFund. OneIsraelFund protects the people who live in Judea and Samaria, and I think OneIsraelFund understands that there really is one Israel and only Israel. And any suggestion that we have a partner for peace, I think, is naive and hypocritical. We don't have partners who refuse to acknowledge our existence. So the state of Israel is strong, and the state of Israel needs people in the United States to support it, and that's why I come to this dinner. That's why I support OneIsraelFund, and I urge everyone to do the same. Not only is Israel important to me as a Jew, Israel is very important to me also as a father and a grandfather. My son and his wife and 7 grandchildren live in Ramat Eshkol in Yerushalayim. My son is a Talmid Chacham devoted to the study of Torah, and OneIsraelFund helps make Israel safe. And to the extent that this organization helps make my grandchildren and my children safe, it's important for me to support them. Just last week, my family and I were in Pesach in Israel for the Chagim, and we visited areas throughout the state, including the Shomron. We stayed in Shiloh for a day, and we met really strong Israelis, people who are not afraid to live where they're supposed to live, and they stand for principles that all of us should support. So to the extent that OneIsraelFund supports people who the United States classify as settlers, they are settlers. They're settlers of Israel, not occupied territories.